The morning sun had not yet begun to cast its golden glow over the quiet neighborhood when the heavy doors of the courtroom creaked open to mark the beginning of a day centered on justice and responsibility. Inside the halls of Judy Justice, the atmosphere was thick with the weight of expectations and the quiet rustle of legal documents. This was a place where stories collided and the truth was meticulously unraveled from the threads of conflicting testimonies. On this particular day, the court was called to order for case number 3060, a dispute that had turned longtime neighbors into legal adversaries. The court officer announced the arrival of the judge with a resonant voice that commanded immediate respect. All present rose as Judge Judy took her seat at the elevated bench, her sharp eyes scanning the room with a practiced gaze that could discern sincerity from deception in a heartbeat. She welcomed the room with a calm but firm greeting and invited everyone to be seated. The case before her involved Miss Grecia Galvin and her father, Mr. Juan Galvin, who were suing their neighbor, Mr. Ruben Alonso, for significant veterinary expenses incurred after a distressing incident involving their beloved canine companions. Miss Galvin stood with her father by her side, her face reflecting the emotional toll of the preceding months. Behind her, a photograph of a small, aging dog named Yogi was presented to the court. Yogi was 13 years old, a senior dog who had been a loyal part of the Galvin family for over a decade. Miss Galvin explained that they had lived in their yellow house for 15 years, a place of stability and peace until the events of late April. To their left, 2 doors down, stood the greenhouse belonging to Mr. Alonso, who had resided there for 7 years with his wife and children. The tension in the room grew as the focus shifted to Mr. Alonso and his dog. Max was a 4-year-old American bully, a powerful animal weighing 70 pounds, described as a combination of a pit bull and an English bulldog. While Mr. Alonso spoke of his pet with pride, the nature of the breed and its capacity for strength became a central theme of the inquiry. The dispute was clear. The Galvins claimed that Max had viciously attacked Yogi, causing severe injuries to the old dog and physical harm to Mr. Juan Galvin. Mr. Alonso, however, maintained a different narrative, asserting that his dog was on a leash and that the confrontation was sparked by the Galvins leaving their gate open and their dog unattended. Judge Judy listened with focused intensity as she began to piece together the timeline of that fateful morning. It was April 28th at 4:30 in the morning. At such an early hour, the neighborhood should have been shrouded in silence. Miss Galvin explained that she and her father worked at the same company and were preparing to carpool to their 5 o'clock shift. As part of their daily routine, Mr. Juan Galvin was walking Yogi before they departed for work. Mr. Juan Galvin was invited to describe the events in his own words. With the help of a photograph to guide his testimony, he pointed to the area near their gate. He recounted the moment he opened the gate, hearing the sudden sound of rapid footsteps approaching. Before he could react, Mr. Alonso's dog was upon them. He had not seen Mr. Alonso at that initial moment, only the powerful form of the animal charging toward them. The impact was so sudden and forceful that it knocked Mr. Juan Galvin against the gate, causing him to tumble. When he regained his footing, he witnessed a sight that would haunt him. Max was attacking Yogi, who was on his back, helpless against the larger dog's strength. The attack was described as harsh and relentless, with Max shaking the smaller dog with terrifying intensity. The narrative of the struggle continued as Miss Galvin described her immediate intervention. She had emerged from the house and had a full view of the driveway when she heard Yogi's cries for help. She saw the defendant's dog mauling her pet. At that point, Mr. Alonso appeared, running from his house to join the chaos. According to Miss Galvin, Max was neither leashed nor wearing a collar at the time of the attack. Mr. Alonso attempted to separate the animals by grabbing Max's back legs, a desperate move to control the 70-pound bully. Once the dogs were momentarily separated, Mr. Juan Galvin lifted Yogi by his leash to place him on top of a nearby car for safety. However, the danger was not over. Max lunged toward Mr. Juan Galvin again, prompting Miss Galvin to intervene by kicking out to protect her father. In the process, she felt the dog's teeth sink into her shoe. Fortunately, the material of the shoe prevented the teeth from piercing her skin, but the intent and the force of the bite were undeniable. Mr. Alonso was eventually seen being dragged along the cement and sidewalk as he struggled to restrain his powerful animal. As the testimony unfolded, Judge Judy expressed her skepticism toward Mr. Alonso's version of the story. She warned him to be very careful with his words, emphasizing that she sought the absolute truth. Mr. Alonso insisted that he had been walking Max on a leash as part of his regular routine before work. He claimed that as he approached the Galvins' yellow house, their dog came barking out onto the sidewalk and began biting Max's legs. He argued that he should not be held responsible for the vet bills because the Galvins had failed to keep their gate closed. However, the evidence presented by the Galvins told a different story. They produced a veterinary report and bills totaling over $5,800. The records indicated that Yogi had suffered a level 4 bite wound and had required extensive hospitalization and care. The severity of the injuries was consistent with a prolonged and violent attack rather than a minor scrap between neighbors. The focus then shifted to the history of the animals involved. Judge Judy, known for her deep concern regarding large animals capable of causing serious injury, questioned Mr. Alonso about any prior incidents. He initially claimed there had been none, and that he was unaware of any past aggression. Yet, Ms. Galvin brought forth information that suggested otherwise. She spoke of a previous encounter about a year prior where Max had targeted Yogi, and more significantly, an incident in late January involving a 10-year-old German Shepherd. This German Shepherd had reportedly been attacked by Max while being walked on a leash by its owner. Miss Galvin had witnessed this event and had assisted in keeping the older dog safe. She noted that on that occasion, one of Mr. Alonso's twin daughters had come out to retrieve their dog, who was once again loose without a leash. When Mr. Alonso denied any knowledge of this, Judge Judy found it difficult to believe that his children would not have informed him of such a significant event. The climax of the trial arrived when Mr. Alonso's son, Jason, was called to testify. Jason, who was 24 years old and lived at home, was asked about a confrontation that occurred days after the attack on Yogi. Miss Galvin had visited the Alonso home accompanied by the owner of the German Shepherd to address the recurring danger. Jason admitted that he was present and had heard the conversation. He confirmed that the owner of the German Shepherd had expressed a desire to avoid conflict, but had clearly identified Max as the aggressor. He also revealed that his father had remained quiet during this interaction while he was busy installing security cameras on a ladder. Judge Judy pointed out the inconsistency in Mr. Alonso's defense. She remarked that once a person is caught in a lie, their entire testimony becomes suspect. The fact that Mr. Alonso's own son confirmed the prior discussions about Max's behavior undermined his claim of being an unaware and responsible pet owner. The judge emphasized that owning a dog capable of inflicting serious harm carries an absolute responsibility to ensure the safety of others. In her final analysis, Judge Judy spoke about the profound duty that comes with bringing a powerful breed into a community. She highlighted that while individuals have the right to choose their pets, they must also accept the liability if those pets cause injury or trauma. She expressed her sympathy for Yogi, the elderly dog who had spent his golden years recovering from a traumatic ordeal. The judgment was rendered in favor of the plaintiffs, Ms. Grecia Galvin and Mr. Juan Galvin. The court ordered Mr. Alonso to pay the full amount of the veterinary bills, totaling $6,500. Judge Judy issued a stern warning that the incident was now a matter of public record, and any future lapses in control could result in the loss of his animal. As the parties left the courtroom, the emotions were palpable. The Galvins felt a sense of relief that the truth had been acknowledged and that their companion's pain had been validated by the law. They planned to take even further precautions, perhaps installing a more secure fence to protect their home. For them, Yogi was more than just a pet. He was a best friend and a constant companion for over half of Miss Galvin's life. Mr. Alonso remained defensive, still clinging to his belief that his dog was merely defending itself. But the weight of the legal decision was final. The case served as a poignant reminder that in a civil society, our responsibilities to our neighbors and the safety of our communities must always come first. The truth had come to light, as it always does in the halls of justice, leaving behind a lesson on the importance of accountability, the value of honesty, and the enduring bond between humans and their loyal animal friends. The court was adjourned, and the echoes of the gavel signaled the close of a chapter, leaving the neighborhood to find its way back to a state of peace and mutual respect.